Welcome to the Sun Parlour Coffee House Sessions. I'm Jan Hall from Folk Roots Radio. Toronto-based singer-songwriter and fingerstyle guitarist Shawna Caspi performs solo, but there's a whole band under her fingertips. A mighty singer, a story sculptor and a truth teller, she has toured across Canada and the United States and believes in poetry and the power of one person on one instrument. Her latest album is Forest Fire. She's our special guest in the studio today, and she's coming up right now. Enjoy.
I wrote this next song after I helped some of my friends move, and in particular my friends who are couples. And it's really interesting to watch a couple on moving day, because if you ever want to see someone be their most real selves, be there when they're trying to stuff all of their belongings into a U-Haul truck. So I wanted to write a love song for these people. This is called Love in a Moving Van. We'll find love in a U-Haul truck, start with a gamble and follow our luck. How do we handle when the road gets rough? Well, that's love in a U-Haul truck. We'll find love in a moving van, pack it to the edges with as much as we can. Anything we leave behind, we'll build again, 'cause that's love in a moving van. And it all comes out on the other side, and we arrive with something to show. If it all falls down, we'll set it up right, and we can go. We'll find love with a trailer on the back, when the lifting's giving me a heart attack. You revive me when I get off track, 'cause that's love in a trailer on the back. We'll find love in a folded down seat, make more room when our tempers meet. Get out the cases, line them up neat, 'cause that's love in a folded down seat. And it all comes out on the other side, and we arrive with something to show. If it all falls down, we'll set it up right, and we can go. We can go. Oh, we can go. Oh, we can go. We'll find love in the front of the cab, with your hand on my knee and your foot on the dash. We can get there slow, or we can get there fast, 'cause it's love in the front of the cab, and we all wanna love like that. We all wanna love like that. We all wanna love like that. I wrote Take This Mountain after I came back from a trip to North Carolina. I was hiking through the beautiful mountains that they have there, and I ran into this woman who lived in the town that I was staying in, and she said, "Oh, you're from Canada. You have mountains in Canada." "Yes, we do." She said, "Well, they're different from our mountains." And she gestures to the Blue Ridge Mountains that are all around us, and she says, "Your mountains are as though God traced his finger over the horizon. And that really stuck with me. And so when I came back from that trip, I was thinking about mountains, and I was also thinking about banjos, because I was at a music conference and a lot of people were playing banjos and bluegrass music and old-time music. And so I've tuned my guitar to kind of emulate the banjo. And I've written this song called Take This Mountain, which is not about mountains at all. It is about the obstacles that we put in front of ourselves and how we choose to deal with them. So this is Take This Mountain. So you say, there's a mountain in your way, cast a shadow on your days. So you say, take a breath, and soon you'll see more than trouble at your feet, and the climb's not so steep. Take a breath, and soon you'll see. And take this mountain and make it yours. Won't try to move it anymore. Let that rest be your reward. And take this mountain and make it yours. Side, you can build a house with a window looking out down the valley where you left your doubt. On the side, you can build a house, but stay close to the winding stream. It'll wash away those bitter dreams till the water runs clean. Stay close to the winding stream and take this mountain and make it yours. Won't try to move it anymore. Let that rest be your reward. And take this mountain, make it yours. There's an early train, there's an empty lane that stretches out across the range. So don't look up for who to blame when there's a mountain in your way. You will sleep like a grizzly bear. When you wake, that mountain air will fill your lungs and comb your hair. You will sleep like a grizzly bear. So you say, there's a mountain in your way. Well, that mountain's what you make. So you say, take that mountain and make it yours. Won't try to move it anymore. Let that rest be your reward. And take this mountain, make it yours. This song is a true story of one cold, blustery night at the Transat Club in Toronto during the Bluegrass Jam. This is called The Devil's Rolling Pin. It was one of those days in the dark when the world's made a terrible mark on my softened skin that I covered up after the fact. It was colder than I thought. Said I'm never gonna leave this spot. Now I got down low like the place was under attack. And the March wind was a trickster. He was cooking up a mixture of all the winter left there on the shelf. I was shaking in my cotton shirt, complaining how my body hurt, staying at home, feeling sorry for myself. Put on your shoes, it's up to you. You gotta move your feet or the demon's gonna do you in. You can lie down when you're dead, said the voice in the back of my head. I don't wanna live under the devil's rolling pin. Well, there's a club at the end of the block, and the beer list's written in chalk, and I walked in like I was going back for more. And I said, is this seat taken? I fear my back is breaking. And the thin man at the table said, it's yours. And that high and lonesome sound, those guys were picking hounds, weaving in and out of the microphone stands. We raised a mason jar to Scruggs, tore up that old bar rug, that my ice-cold bones didn't bother me so bad. Put on your shoes, it's up to you. You gotta move your feet or the demon's gonna do you in. You can lie down when you're dead, said the voice in the back of my head. I don't wanna live under the devil's rolling pin. Wholesome rugged band had the whole room in their hands when they said goodnight. We hollered, play one more, and everyone was feeling fine. They did the last one double time. Couldn't believe it hadn't been this way before. Put on your shoes, it's up to you. You gotta move your feet or the demon's gonna do you in. You can lie down when you're dead, said the voice in the back of my head. I don't wanna live under the devil's rolling pin. No, I don't wanna live under the devil's rolling pin. I don't wanna live under the devil's rolling pin.
That's Shawna Caspi live in the Quantum Sound Production Studio in Kingsville. She's our special guest on the Sun Parlour Coffee House Sessions today. It's great to have you join us.
It's really nice to be here.
I like to think of Shawna as being one of the most professional musicians that I know. She's just released her 4th album entitled Forest Fire, and we've been listening to some of the tracks from that album tonight, and I think that's the 4th album you've done,
yes.
Right? The interesting thing about this album is that it seems to have much more of a band feel than, for instance, your last album, which was Apartments for Lovers, which seemed to be much more of a solo record. The other thing I love about this album, though, is the beautiful production that I think that was from Don Kerr from Rio Statics and Ron Sexsmith.
Yes. I can't say enough good things about Don. When I chose to work with him, it's always a process to try to decide where you want to do a record and who you want to work with. And I really loved the stuff I had heard from Don in the past, and he really seemed like a producer who understood songwriters and understood how to bring out the most authentic parts of someone into a recording. So luckily he was available and interested, and we made a beautiful record.
It is absolutely a fabulous, fabulous album. Today, though, you were playing solo for us, and I always wonder when you have an album that has these beautiful band arrangements on it, and then you play the songs live. And I imagine a lot of your shows, because you tour a great deal across Canada and the US, a lot of those shows are solo shows. How does it work for you to adjust between working with a band in the studio and at the CD release shows, and then heading out on the road playing solo?
Well, all the songs start as solo songs, and I have to be able to play them live in an interesting enough way from the start as a solo artist. And so it's actually, the difficult part is going to the studio and hearing them in a different way from that. So that's why someone like Don, in this case, was so crucial to the project, because he was the one who could hear the songs in a bigger and more elaborate, more, with bigger and better arrangements. And so when I go back and play them live, it's kind of like going back to the way that they started.
So you have some interesting people playing on this album. Rosalind Dennett, fabulous fiddle player,
Yes.
plays on it. Did you choose her to play on the album, or was that something that you decided with Don?
I kind of let Don do what he thought was best in general. Like, I kind of gave him free rein to do whatever he wanted, of course, with, my input. But so he had ideas for the songs, and he had ideas for who he thought would be great to play on them. But as it turned out, every person that we brought into the project was also somebody that I knew and I would have chosen anyway.
So tell us about some of the other people that are actually on the album.
We have Ben Whiteley playing the bass, who was he played on the most songs of everybody, and he was so relaxed and so
Fabulous
positive.
bass player, yeah.
He's just such a great guy to be around. And of course, Rosalind, as you mentioned, played fiddle and sang some beautiful harmonies. And Don is a drummer most of the time, so he played drums and sang as well. And Joel Schwartz, who you might know from the band Birds of Chicago.
One of my favorite bands.
Oh, he plays great guitar with them, but he plays with a number of different people. And he actually played on my second album years ago. And then he came in to play on this record, and he brought just a rack of instruments. And he was so prepared, he was so creative and brilliant that we would cue up a song and he'd go, "Oh yeah, I've got an idea for that. I got an idea for that." And so he played a ton of instruments on the album, and he just did it with such skill and expertise. It was a joy to work with Joel.
So you must have been really thrilled with the way the album turned out. Certainly, I love listening to an album where the musicians have space to breathe. You can hear all the instruments, the arrangements flow. Production is just absolutely fabulous. I mean, you must have been thrilled with the final result.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely the best work I've done so far.
Oh, cool. Now, 9 songs on the album. A couple of the songs were on the Apartments for Lovers album, which was, again, more of a solo Shawna Caspi album. Was it always your intent to be able to bring band arrangements to those songs?
Yeah, I was interested in this project to take a couple of the songs from the previous record that was just a solo guitar voice album, me live to tape, very, very different sound, and to take some of those songs that I really loved and reimagine them for this record in a full band sound. So I'm happy that we did that. And in fact, I don't know if you know, but there's a bonus track on the album as well.
There is a bonus
So
track.
there really are 10 tracks. If you get the album and you open it up, there's a download code for the bonus track as well.
Which is an interesting song, which I have downloaded, and I think it's about my baby knows how to tune a bike or something.
My baby can fix a bike.
Fix a bike. There you know it. Yeah, a great song.
And that song's actually a really old song of mine too, and I wanted to record it for years, but it's such an unusual song that it never fit within the context of any album that I was making, so I just never recorded it. And then when I had this great band at my disposal and I still wanted to put that song on an album, we recorded it, and we had such a great time doing it. It was so fun, but it still didn't fit on the album, so I didn't put it on the complete album, but it's this bonus download so that people can still have it.
So there's 7 of your songs on this album. There's the Tennessee Waltz, traditional song, on there as well. There's also a cover of Lynn Miles' Brave Parade, and that's a fabulous song. And to be honest, when you listen to it, you could imagine that being a Shawna Caspi song.
Oh,
so
what a
tell me
compliment.
why you chose to put that one on there.
I'm a huge Lynn Miles fan and have been for many years, and she's written a lot of incredible songs. And that one is one that I've been covering for many years, and it just seemed to fit with the rest of the feel of the album. And if I had written it, I would have put it in the exact same place.
And when you talk about the feel of the album, I mean, that's, your songs always have meaning. And one of the things that's obviously very important to you is to make sure that the lyric speaks to the audience as well as the music. Now, we mentioned that you're an accomplished guitarist, you're classically trained. Your last album, Apartments for Lovers, had a couple of instrumentals on the album, which I love. Now, there are none on this album. I was curious as to whether that was just this group of songs that you pulled together, or whether there is any prospect for doing more instrumental work.
Yeah, I had a really hard time writing guitar instrumentals. I wanted to put those on that last album because of the feel of that record and because it was a solo guitar adventure. So I wrote a couple of instrumentals, and I had a tough time learning them and playing them, and particularly playing them live. So after a while, I just kind of stopped playing them. And I haven't written any since, I have to admit, but not to say that it couldn't happen again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love your guitar work, and it's certainly a pleasure to be able to watch you play. If people want to learn more about your music, how can they do that?
You can go to my website at www.shawnacaspi.com, or find me in any internet location: Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you want.
Career. That's great. Shawna Caspi, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. She's got one song coming up in the Parlour Coffee House Session studio. And thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Jen. This is a song that I wrote many years ago and actually appeared on my third album, Apartments for Lovers. And I was inspired to write this song after I heard a speech by, at the time, Member of Parliament Megan Leslie from Halifax. She had made a speech on December 6th, which is the day that we remember the Montreal Massacre in Canada. And there are usually vigils across the country to remember that. And she was speaking at one of them. And the text of that speech was online, and I was reading it. And she was talking about the day, but she was also talking about what it was like to be a woman in Parliament, and just what it was like to be a woman day to day. And that really resonated with me. And ever since then, I've played this song at every show that I've played and any sort of radio or television appearance I've done. And it just kind of grows and grows every time I play it. And no matter what time of year or when I play this song, there's always something that's still relevant about it. So I'm going to play it for all of those women and all of women everywhere, and for all of us. This is called Not So Silent. For the sisters who are stolen in the missing person files, the stories unreported that never go to trial, for the names that are ignored by a country in denial. We are louder than them. For the daughters who have disappeared when they stood to disobey, when a life that's lived in freedom is a threat to some old way. The sentence is cut short when there is so much more to say. We are louder than them. And we will not be silent, we will not be shamed. And we will not sit still and bend our will in honor's name. We don't come for permission, there are no warning shots. We are the voices that call out for those who cannot. Neighbors warned, don't walk alone down streets we thought we knew. And suddenly we're reckless, and the consequences due to the men who just can't help themselves and the courts who wave them through. We are louder than them. To the officer who looked at her and said she was to blame, the woman charged in self-defense when the judge denied her claim. the history that haunts us, and the fear that never goes away. We are louder than them. And we will not be silent, we will not be shamed, and we will not sit still and bend our will in honor's name. We don't come for permission, there are no warning shots. We are the voices that call out for those who cannot. There are no isolated incidents. We are not isolated innocence. It's more than just coincidence, and we are louder. And it's urgency that drives us, and mercy that survives us. It's her and him and I and us, and we are louder. Oh, we are louder than them. We are louder. We are louder than them. So let's choose change to counter danger. Love the company we keep, and rise to those who challenge us, dare to call us weak. When equality has fallen from the language that they speak, we are louder than them. And we will not be silent, we will not be shamed, and we will not sit still and bend our will in honor's name. We don't come for permission, there are no warning shots. We are the voices that call out for those who cannot. We are the voices that call out for those who cannot. We are the voices that call out for those who cannot.